Okay, so now I'm going to be rinsing my cranberries, and I'm making, sorry, my tripod is not tall. So if I want something higher, to hold the camera higher up, then I have to put it on something. But so for right now, this will work. So what I'm going to do is just rinse these, make sure there's nothing in there. These are the whole cranberries you buy in the produce section. Make sure there's no stems attached. Make sure there's no mushy or icky berries. These look pretty good. Excellent, excellent. And what I'm doing this time is I'm making a keto cranberry sauce, which means that I am using monk fruit instead of sugar. And you can also, if you want, you can add some orange zest or, you know, whatever you like. But I'm just going cranberry and sweet. So I have in my little pan here 1 cup of monk fruit, which doesn't raise your blood sugar or your insulin, doesn't cause you to release insulin. And 1 cup of that and 1 cup of water. And I already brought it to a boil. You can see the steam. And I'm just gonna put these in. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. All right, and if you can kind of see that. And just gonna put it right here on the fire and let that start cooking. Now, normally, I used to make my cranberries. I would just put on a raging boiling water with a cup of sugar, and ew, that's so different from this recipe. This one says medium heat, you know, just so I guess it doesn't really matter, but here we go. There they are. Okay, so they're going to you can see the water kind of, because I preheated that water. It's pretty hot in there still. Do you see them popping? You can hear them. If I'm quiet, you may hear. Okay, well, give them another minute. They'll start popping. What they're doing is they're breaking their skins, and then they start to soften on the inside. So we'll just let that, whoops. I should pay attention to the camera work. You hear it? Kidding, that's just Bob. All right, here they go. They're popping now. Shh, quiet, Bob. We're watching cranberries pop. Really, we are. It's very important. So when my mother used to make cranberry sauce, this is my favorite thing. I would just stand here and stare at these cranberries. And if you ever get cranberry sauce on you, whew, it is hot, 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 so don't do that. But you see? So the way I would do it is I would boil, it would be boiling here at this point, and then I would let it stir and cook it for about 10 minutes. So that's probably what I'm gonna do this time. But the difference is that was made of sugar, with sugar, a cup of sugar. Whoops. Oh man, I can't keep that in the right spot. That was made with a cup of sugar. And this is made with monk fruit. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to taste. But I heard an expert, you know, say that if you eat more than 1 teaspoon of sugar, everything beyond that teaspoon is like a poison to you. So this is a way to kind of curb it. Because we are going to have stuffing, which will be made of biscuits and cornbread and mashed potatoes, you know, and the macaroni and cheese. But you know what? If you have an option, then maybe you'll go for it if it's easy. And this is an easy replacement for cranberry sauce. So I'm just gonna let that cook, and it's gonna take about 4 hours to cool off in the refrigerator, which is perfect because we are going to have dinner this evening, probably, you know, longer than that from now. So anyway, we're just doing what we can do on the stove because the oven is taken up with turkey. So let me show you what I did yesterday morning. We've had such a week. Ezra, my grandson, fell off a slide at school and broke his elbow. And so we were at the hospital with him yesterday, but he went in the night before, and it's in Orlando, so it's a little bit of a drive, not too bad. So while I was waiting for my husband to get all the things he needed to do to get ready, I quickly made this cake. This is a white cake with buttercream frosting, and the buttercream has some heavy cream in it, and snowflakes, or, you know, I don't know, I guess we can call them coconut flakes. But this was something else that my mother used to make. So we made this in her honor, and we're going to eat it today. But I just really didn't make this low carb. So what we'll do is have a smaller piece. But anyway, I can't actually make the pumpkin pies today because the turkey's in the way, and it takes a different temperature. So I'm gonna forego that. Gotta watch this, see what's happening. Gotta pay attention. I'm gonna turn that heat down. All right, just keep stirring that, kind of cools it a little bit while it's cooking. And then it will thicken up like jelly cranberry sauce, just like you can get in a can. If you wanted, let's see, camera in place. If you wanted to, you could strain this or puree it and strain it to get, you know, the non-lumpy version. This will be the lumpy because I love chunky cranberries. So that's what this is going to be. And I'm going to let this cook, let's see, for about 10 more minutes. Well, we'll give it 8 minutes because it has been cooking. All right, so we have it turned down, and it's like lava right now. So do not test your cranberry sauce unless you really, 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 really blow on it, because it's going to burn your tongue a lot. So we're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to stir it pretty often, and then we will let it cool down in this pan, and then when it's cool enough, we can stick it in the refrigerator so that it'll be cold for tonight, and it will be jelly. So that's the easiest jelly in the world. I guess you could make any fruit thing, you know, if it's got pectin in it, it's going to gel up anyway. So if you're really hardcore, you could have cranberry sauce with no sugar. I don't know. I'm not that hardcore. So, all right, we'll just let that simmer away. And next thing we'll do is probably either the ingredients for the green bean casserole, which I like to make mine from scratch. I'll show you what I've got here. I have some green beans, organic green beans, and some organic portobello mushrooms. And I have onions that I'm going to put in with this, and I will cook this. I'm gonna cook this just a little so that when it's inside the pan, it won't come out hard. And then I'm gonna add, you know, cream and all kinds of yummy stuff, and then, you know, those crispy onions to the top. So that will be one thing. And then I have my celery out, bell pepper, which I'm gonna add onion to, then make the cornbread and the biscuit bread for the stuffing. And then I'm going to make macaroni and cheese. And I'll probably make that tomorrow because we don't need it today. I want it to be fresh for the people who need macaroni and cheese tomorrow. And then I'm going to, what's tomorrow? Leftover day. So, you know, whenever more like my granddaughter isn't here today because she's with her friends her friend's family having a Thanksgiving dinner. My son is not here. We are going to do a little bit tomorrow too. Another very low-key thing, but we're going to do that tomorrow. And because my granddaughter has to go back to college on Sunday, we are going to be having an early Hanukkah celebration, which is tomorrow. Again, pretty low-key, just, you know, close, not close family, but all in my family are, you know, I like to say they're close, but my kids. And the reason for that is we went through a little bit of let me turn my camera around a little bit so that I can go check on. I'm not a camera wizard, but I never claimed to be. All right, so, and my tripod is sinking. We had a little bit of a trauma last week in our family. My husband, Jules, you know Jules, long beard, he actually had a heart attack last Sunday. And so we were having a very large Thanksgiving, and we made it much smaller just to, you know, and then we had already decided to make it smaller just to keep the stress down. And, you know, anyway, then day before yesterday, my grandson broke his elbow. So I guess, you know, we just have some stuff going on. And sometimes I don't know, I'm feeling festive, but I just don't want to get a lot of stuff going on, just keeping it low key. But then, you know, we'll all get together later on and have a lot of fun with my brothers and sisters. But for now, we're just low key, and that's why we're having 2 days, because originally it was going to be on Friday, and so now it's on Thursday. We're just having dinner tonight. It's just like a regular dinner, and then we will have Hanukkah tomorrow. Okay, now we're going to do our green bean casserole. But first, let me pause Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving. I have that going. It's not just, it's not a video, it's actually someone reading the book, and then they play the music in the background, which is kind of sweet. But first of all, this is what I've got going on. I've got the green beans, I've got the portobello mushrooms. I'm going to get all those cleaned, washed, prepared. I've got, I don't know if you can tell, but I have one larger onion and a smaller onion because I wanted more than one onion and more than a half. So I just found a smaller one, and we'll do that. So we're gonna do that. We'll make the mushroom and a sauce together. So instead of mushroom soup, we are going to have, you know, real mushrooms and like a nice cream sauce for the green beans to float around in. That way we can control what kind of oils we're putting in and what kind of carbs we're putting in and what kind of mushrooms, because, you know, we have just organic everything here. So we're going to get these washed up, and don't worry about if your mushrooms are going to soak water or not. You can wash the tops pretty good. I washed the whole thing because I saw Alton Brown do, his question was, do you retain a lot of water? Do your mushrooms get soggy? And pretty much the answer was no. And if you've ever cooked mushrooms in a pan that you weren't boiling, you can see they have a lot of moisture in them already. So we're going to cook that out anyway, because we're going to brown them a little with our onion. And then we're going to add some butter and some heavy cream to make a sauce. So we're not really worried about a super dry mushroom. I use mushrooms all the time, and I wash them because I just have to. Brushing with a mushroom brush, it's not okay for me. I have to make sure everything is off these because I'm not so fond of eating the medium that it's grown in. Sorry for the water noise, but anyway, so this is how I make green bean casserole because I don't like to eat, what do you call it, processed foods and processed anything. So I'm going to throw some butter in the pan and then I'm going to slice these so that when you're eating, you actually can see a nice big slice of mushroom, not just a little bitty bit. So, all right, let me get the butter going and then, oh, I want to tell you. So here is the cranberry sauce. And I have this little trick that I do to cool it off. Every time you stop seeing steam come up, give it a stir, and then it lets out more heat because it's very quick to gel and make a cover to hold that heat in. So I always see how nice and thick that is. Wow, boy, it smells good. I'm not gonna taste it because it would still burn me. But anyway, so we'll just give that a little stir, and then I'll glance back there every few minutes and stir it. But most of the steam is already gone. Butter, back to the butter. I need the butter because I'm going to make a sauce, like a really, really thick mushroom soup once this butter gets going. So I'm going to have a pan about this long. So I'm going to need, I forgot to put my earbuds in, so I hope you can hear me. I don't project well. All right, so that's going. I have it on about 6, the temperature. So we've got this, and then we will just slice these up. Yeah, I get these at Costco, and they are really, really good. So it's about, can you tell? This thick. It's about this thick. And we're just going to put that in our pan once we get these diced. And we'll dice an onion and put that in the pan. So we'll get that flavor too. That way you don't have to put a lot of those processed crispy ones in it. You just need to sprinkle them on top. I have never crisped onions before, but if I knew how to do that, I would do that instead of buying the processed packaged crispy onions. But I'm pretty sure either way you do it would be good because what you're looking for is the crunch on top. So if you can get the crunch on top and it tastes good, you know, my two favorites, onion and salt. Look at the size of this guy. Now I'm gonna probably just trim off a little bit of that stem, but I'm not de-stemming. I'm not popping those stems out. I like them. I like to see that in my thing. So, you know, and people say, okay, well, they're woody. Look at this. It's just as soft as this. But if I come across one that feels soft and hard, then I would just pop it out. But these are just really, really fresh mushrooms. They must have been picked right before I got to Costco. Maybe they have a mushroom garden out back. Anyway, so let me get this finished. I do like green bean casserole. It's not something we grew up eating that came, you know, from people, marrying into the family. And I'm glad they did because I really like it. So what I do differently is not make it from canned or frozen. And I don't make it with mushroom soup, regular mushroom soup. I just, you know, make my own. See, now I did take this one off. But see, that looks dirty. I can't clean in those grooves, so I don't want to eat that. So, there you go. All right, I'm gonna trim this little corner off. See, on this mushroom, I could see that, I don't know, see the discoloration on the tip of that? So that's kind of a woody stem, so I'm taking that out. You know, I'm gonna cook these very well in the pan with the butter, and then I'm going to bake it for quite a while with all the other ingredients, so I think they have plenty of time to soften up. Ooh, I hear my butter call. Let me get over there. There. All right, so those are going. I didn't have to really stir that because I saw them spread across the pan like that. All right, so let's hurry up and get these done and look at everything else going. So yeah, I had this little problem of too much stuff going on in my oven at one time. If I had gotten up early and made the turkey, then I would have room in the oven for the pies and the bread and everything. But I didn't, so I kind of got started later. You know, oh my goodness, it was just time for rest. You know, sometimes you're like, we'll just eat later. It's no big deal. Not everyone's coming anyway, so we can be casual. And the people that are coming were at the hospital with us yesterday. Ezra's parents, so they're glad to have a rest day today too, and so is Ezra. He's doing pretty good. They had to put 2 pins in his elbow, not like right above his elbow, the upper arm bone by the elbow. They were afraid that there might be some nerve damage, but it actually looked pretty good. Well, I guess that's remained to be seen, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. They didn't have to actually cut his skin open or anything to do this. They were able to manipulate everything back together and then put the 2 pins in. So he was asleep, anesthetized for that. And he will go back to the doctor in a week, and they'll check and make sure things are in the right place for healing. And then I guess he'll wear his cast for 6 to 8 weeks, or, you know, as they check, they'll know whether he's getting good healing or not. And then that will tell the tale. So we don't get to go swimming. We don't get to do things like that because his cast is full arm from here to past his knuckles here, and it's like this. So anyway, and it can't get wet. So poor little guy. He's only 3. His birthday's coming up though. He'll be 4 in December, so that'll be fun. So I'm thinking he's gonna have a cast as part of his 4th birthday. I'm gonna mix this now. I want this spoon, but it's right here. So I'm gonna just have to use another something here. All right, spoon option 2. We'll just mix this together. Let everything just cook, get softened up. And while that's getting ready, we'll get our pan out and work on the beans. So this is what I'm going to be using. It's about a couple inches shorter than the big wide one, but it's kind of narrow. I think it'll be big enough. So let's see, let's do a little test run. Well, all the beans fit in. So no, it's not, if just the beans fit, it's not going to be big enough. Because I have a lot of mushrooms and a lot of onion. I still have 1 to go. And I still have to make the sauce, so we're gonna get a bigger one. better size. Okay, do a little test run. Yeah, so if it's cooked down, smushed in, I have that much more room. So perfect. All right, so there's a seasoning packet in this. I'll have to look at it and see what it is. Sounds interesting, but I may save that for next time. Let's just zip through this. I should just get a live thing, and that way anything that I did wrong would be captured. I like those kind of things. So we have a ton of beans here, a ton. And it looks like most of the ends have been snipped, so we have some snipping to do, but not many. So anyway, so the whole idea is with this little seasoning packet that you can make organic, or not organic, gourmet. It is organic, but you can make gourmet beans, which I love beans. I love green beans, just plain by themselves like that. So that wouldn't be bad. Let's see what's in here. Sugar. That's not gonna pass the test, guys. The first ingredient is sugar, onion, salt, garlic, mixed spices, paprika, black pepper, and oregano. So there's 48 calories from sugar per pack. So we'll just pass on that. I hear the mushrooms bubbling away, so I really need to get my onion, the rest of this onion in there. So if you've seen this, it's not for the green bean casserole, that's for the stuffing. Okay. Trash clean up real quick. All right, smelling good in here. I don't smell the turkey yet though. So I had the parade on. It just, it just doesn't seem as good as it used to. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And I don't know any of the celebrities, so that probably is me, but I don't know. But you know what was great? There were so many people out watching it. People are coming out, so I'm ready to have an opened up world, and protect yourself, do what you need to do, and if you don't feel comfortable going in crowds, don't go. If you're okay, you're comfortable, you take precautions, then go. Whatever you want to do. All right, so we're gonna just get this diced real quickly. I'm dicing it a little finer because it's going in a lot later than that first onion. So it'll cook about the same amount of time. And then we have to clean up these beans. I think they're pretty good. I love long beans, but in this particular, the onions are getting to me. In this particular dish, I think I may at least cut them in half. But I love to leave nice, long, slender beans, and these are so thin. Look how beautiful. That is a gorgeous bean. But I don't have to do anything with that one. But some of them do have. I don't mind the green tip. Here's an example. I don't mind this green tip. Love that. It's delicious. I don't like the woody tip, the woody end. So I take that off. Let me do this. So there's that much liquid in that pot from the mushrooms and onions. Oh, my eyes, how they burn. All right, so I just like to snip like that. I'm just gonna use that for storage for right now. And if they don't have it, I'm not putting them. And if they're kind of short, I'm not gonna cut them in half either. So you could call this an artisan green bean casserole. You know, because when you see something artisan, it's not like that picture perfect look, but it's like real. And so my green bean casserole is going to be real. But anyway, so we're excited. You know, we do have so much to be thankful for. And I hope if my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and family members, anyone who's watching this, I just want you to know we are so grateful that Ezra is fine and got to come home. And I didn't tell you, I didn't finish the story about Jules. Jules, so he did have a heart attack. We found out that it was the artery, a branch of the artery on the back side of the heart that was clogged. It wasn't a major artery, thank God, but he did suffer a real live heart attack. It was going on when we were in the hospital because we went early enough. And just caution you, if you have a pain that, in his case, it didn't go away. So I don't know if that's the case always. But if if something's not right, it's not right. At least go check it out. All you have to do is turn around and go home. You know what? Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about looking silly. At that point, you need to know what's wrong. Because if something is wrong, they can deal with it, and that's exactly what they did. They gave him medications that prevented damage from continuing to his heart, and he had no damage to the heart muscle. And that's the big problem when you have a heart attack. The vessel that is occluded no longer provides oxygen and, I think I saw a stem, oxygen and blood to a section of the heart, and part of that heart muscle dies, and you don't have as much function, meaning your heart can't squeeze out the blood and pass along the blood and oxygen to the rest of your body. So go to the hospital, get it checked out, be the emergency room doctor's best friend if you have to, if you see him that often, because you go to get things checked. But don't wait at home. Don't wait till in the morning either. Don't wait till in the morning and say, I'll call my doctor in the morning, because it might be too late. Just do it. Anyway, so they scheduled him to have a catheter, which they put a camera and looks into your heart and your vessels. And then he was going to have a stent. But because the artery went up and down, the branch went up and down, they couldn't get the stent in, so they did angioplasty, which you might remember, that's kind of in old days. They would just put a balloon in and expand it and expand the artery, and that's what he had done. So, which he was glad about that. So he doesn't have a stent, and so he's doing very well. He's walking many days since then. Well, he rested, till that was on a Sunday. He had the work done on a Tuesday. By the end of the week, we started the walking. So he's been, walking about a mile most days since then, which is wonderful. He's eating right. He is really, really strictly sticking to his low-carb diet, which is why these different changes to our diet here are going on, because he's not interested in another episode and anything else. But he did get good news, like the other arteries weren't clogged, so that's good. The major ones that really, you can't come back from. So that was wonderful. He did great. And then, so that's why we canceled our big Thanksgiving. Just to, take it easy a little bit. And then little baby Ezra broke his arm this week on Tuesday. So, yeah. But you know what? We're thankful. We're thankful, we're grateful, we're not complaining a bit. Those things happen, and nobody is immune to things happening. I don't think we're cursed. I think we are just experiencing what life on this earth is, and by the blessings and grace of God, we're coming out pretty well. So I'm going to go and check on those onions, and then we'll continue. What is going on in our pot? Looks good, looks good. Okay, take a peek at that. Yummy, yummy. All right, so you can see some of all the onions are, become translucent. There's a little bit of a browning on the mushrooms, and so I did have to put a little thickener in there. We're going to now get ready. You can see some of the butter still oozing around in the pan. By this time it's clarified. Anyway, so now, sorry about the noise, I'm going to put some half and half in here. This is going to be our creamy mushroom soup. And then I'm going to actually cook the beans a little bit before I add them to the sauce. Okay, so and this is our organic half and half. I would use heavy cream, but I couldn't get it at the grocery store. What little bit I have, I want to use for coffee. Huh? Isn't that sad? I'm being stingy. All right, so we have that in there. We're gonna just stir it up. All right, so we'll let that thicken a little. And a little trick that Jules' niece told me. She said, put in Worcestershire sauce. So I'm gonna do that too. Sorry, I'm gonna do that too. There we go. Worcestershire. Or if you're in Massachusetts, Worcester sauce. So Worcestershire. Doesn't everybody have a different way to say things? All right, I'm gonna put just a couple shakes of that. Did you see? Okay. I'm hoping that wasn't too much, but it's a pretty big green bean casserole. So we'll mix that up. You can see, see how that's thickening? Yum, yum. Boy, if you just added a little more half and half, you'd have like the best cream of mushroom soup ever. And so I'm going to salt this mixture real quick. And then well, I hope you're not getting dizzy. I'm making myself dizzy. Okay, we're gonna salt that really well because the green beans, since they're raw and fresh, they will need considerable amount of salt. Let's mix, mix, mix. All right, so right now I have it on 4. I'm gonna turn it down to off. Now the burner, if you have one of these glass top stoves, you know that burner's gonna stay hot for a while. That's a cast iron pan. Also gonna stay hot for a while. Let's get back into our little place here. So I'm going to use a pan just to kind of warm up, this kind of pan, just kind of warm up and get the beans so they will not be totally hard and that they're not dependent on the soup to cook. Alrighty, so like I was saying, we don't want the beans to be dependent on the sauce to completely cook because, number one, these beans are going to give off a lot of liquid. I'm just going to put them in this pan. I was wiping the pan if you're wondering what I was doing because I had a little something in there before, just butter. Just butter. So we're gonna put all these in here. It's gonna dry them out a little bit, cook them down, and then we'll mix them with our soup mixture. If we need more, we can add some more cream, or we could add stock, vegetable stock. So, on to the burner. I'm gonna start it on medium, put a lid on it. It's so big it doesn't even want to completely close. Not a problem. Those are going to cook down. We're not going to worry about it. So this is the pan we're going to use. For that, we'll just mix all those things together and we'll put those crunchy onions on top. We'll put our things away here. I'm just leaving things out. You know what? If you take out one item that if you're making like a mini dish meal, take out one item that you put in that and just leave it on the counter. So I have celery, I have my pepper, I have cheese, I have cream cheese. Those are all different things that I'm going to make. So hang on.